All right, hi, and welcome to another episode of the Unnamed Sports Podcast. I'm Brian Hill.
I'm Rob Vinciguerra.
And once again, we're just going to get right into it. We're going to start with looking back at the Lakers and the Nuggets, and what were your thoughts?
I was impressed with the Nuggets. Murray Jokic was going to be Jokic, but the other guys came through a lot. I was impressed. They're going to be tough to beat.
I did not see it coming at all.
No.
We talked last time we were talking about how Golden State, we were still dealing with Golden State and the Lakers, and I thought that Golden State would kind of pull it out just because of the pedigree, their history. And then to see LeBron win, and I was like, oh, they must be really, really good. I had no idea that the Nuggets were as strong as they are. They've been together for a long time. They're long. They play really tight defense, and they shut down the Lakers for 4 games.
I know.
It was crazy.
Well, but the Lakers kind of came into the whole playoffs with smoke and mirrors. You thought that they ended up to be better than we thought they were.
Yeah.
But it also shows you that Golden State wasn't that good either.
I wonder what would have happened to Golden State.
Poole. There's a lot of guys that really even Klay Thompson underperformed too.
Yeah, Klay Thompson didn't play well.
No.
Jordan Poole was still dealing with the reverberation from Draymond Green's punch earlier in the season.
And it's always amazing that you had Draymond Green, and then you have, I can't think of the guy that gets every rebound.
Oh, the big guy.
Yeah. The two of them are able to hold down the center spot, and you're always like, how are they doing this? But they're able to control that up until this year. Then I think it was Davis that really
Anthony Davis, and that was the thing I guess that surprised me the most was, in the first game Anthony Davis had 40 points, and he played great defense throughout the whole series.
Yeah.
The only problem is that the Joker was doing essentially the same thing plus a little bit more, and you see the Joker like running up the court.
Yeah,
and he's beating Davis up the court and down the court, and he's just always in position.
I don't remember them, but they say that he lost 40 pounds.
Yes.
That he used to be a lot bigger and a lot slower.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
So just like a season and a half ago, he was so much bigger.
Really?
And then he came back in the offseason, you're like, who is this skinny guy?
The shots that amaze me is the overhead 3-pointers from back here, from past,
There's a great video of Larry Bird being interviewed by, I can't remember who it was, but they're like, oh, well, what happens if you bring the ball too far back? He goes, I'll probably miss it, and he shoots it, and he goes, well, and it goes in, and he goes, oh, well, you know me. And I think that's how the Joker is, where it's like he's got a similar, like, way back here, because no one's blocking that. No one's blocking that from a 7-footer.
No.
And I think, like, obviously he was one of the main difference, but Gordon, in my mind, is the reason why that defense can do what they do.
They made LeBron work, and LeBron really was just going from 3-point line to 3-point line.
Well, he looked, and it's so funny because in the last game, LeBron puts up 30 in the first half.
Yeah.
And then in the sports broadcast, they're sitting there saying, like, he needs to go and attack the basket every time he's down. Every time he played every minute except for 4 seconds of that game at the end of the second quarter, and they were expecting him to do everything. He's 38 years old.
I know.
Which is unheard of in the NBA to be that efficient and that effective at 38 years old, and you're still asking for more. That's, I think, the main thing with the Lakers going forward is they're going to have to find some young scorers.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's not Kyrie, because it sounds like people keep floating that out there.
Because one of the things about LeBron is he takes the ball up once again. So he gets in position and decides to jack up that 3. Well, Kyrie's not going to do that.
But I don't even think that he would have to worry about bringing it up as much, because it seems like he's kind of moving into a different role.
Yeah.
His role is no longer always going to be the facilitator. It was certainly what they needed.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't have it in him.
Well, he would be the kick out for a 3-pointer or the drive to the basket.
And that's the thing with this game.
The kick out. But I don't know. I love it when he's walking backwards, and here comes some young buck going as fast as he can, and he points to the guy like, "You take him," like this, and then the guy doesn't even know, and he runs by and jams it, and LeBron goes,
What are you doing?
"What are you doing?"
Yeah, of course. Well, that's what you do as you get older. You delegate, and you have other people do it because your body doesn't work anymore.
And but I really enjoyed him putting Scott Foster down.
That was your favorite. That was the highlight of this. The highlight of the
Oh my gosh.
of the
Scott
series.
Foster looked like he went 3 rounds with Mike Tyson. It was really
I
fun.
always act whenever like the ref gets hurt. There's talk of like, is he going to come out? And
Yeah.
he didn't come out. He's like the toughest guy ever. He's okay. He like had a bloody lip. We've all been there. It's not like his leg was broken.
So I don't know. I mean, you think they're going to try and get Kyrie? You think that's what they want to do?
I wouldn't. Mainly because Kyrie, the baggage that comes with Kyrie is too much. And, the sage on the court, the kind of the poetic talk that he has, he talks poetically, but it leads you nowhere.
Nowhere.
It leads you nowhere. And it leads you to a place of your team's just like becomes dysfunctional and the chemistry is off. And it's wild because I'm looking at like certain players in the league right now. There's like a group of guys who are one of the probably the most elite players in the league, and they can't stay anywhere for more than 2 seasons. So you look at somebody like Durant, came and gone. Everywhere he goes for after he left Oklahoma, he goes to Golden State, he goes to Brooklyn, and now he's already to Phoenix. I think that to me is a problem. I want to see somebody stay in a place because then it's like you can build up rivalries, but everybody's buddy.
It really is. They just want to pay 50 games, maybe get in the playoffs, and make a lot of money.
Yeah, and I don't blame them.
That's really what a lot of those guys want to do.
I think the older generation was about they thought about the fans more than these guys.
For some reason, at the beginning of this season, all of a sudden, on Facebook, I just kept getting Clippers posts, Clippers, and everybody was like, "They're going to be the best team ever." Every one of them was hurt. I mean, you know what I mean?
That's
and it's just that way. Every team is.
But that's the thing, and that's probably one of the main reasons why when you look at what the Nuggets have been doing, it's because they're all healthy.
Yeah,
like they were there last season in the Western Conference Finals, but they couldn't do it because they didn't have Murray.
Yep.
And now Murray's healthy.
Yep.
And he'll go through bouts where his confidence is kind of waning, but then he just goes off, and he just goes.
And they got Caldwell Pope, who is a defender.
And he can shoot the three.
He shoots the three. He was on the Lakers. There could be an all-star team around the league of all guys that used to be on the Lakers. That now are on other teams to get LeBron. You know what I mean? And to get Anthony Davis, they sold their mortgage. They mortgaged their soul to get all of these other guys.
I understand wanting to get there because you gotta fight for it. You're the Lakers.
Yeah.
But it's also nice when you can build. And you can have some guys from the inside, which is, going when we talk about the Heat, that's what makes them so ridiculous. You know, you have all these guys who no one's ever heard of, like 7 dudes who've been undrafted, and they all are just elite and smart. It's like they're the Patriots in a way.
Well, I was heard a thing about Eric Spoelstra that in the beginning, that was when LeBron was there, and there was a lot of people that didn't think he was going to last as a coach. It took a while for him to learn, but now they have the system down, and it's just plug and play with guys. You know what I mean? But it also takes having Bam and having Jimmy Butler. And I don't know whether that's championship material. I will say, you know what I mean? They're always there because it's also on a one game. You play them one game and then you move on. It's different. When you play them 5 or 6 or 7 games, they wear you down.
Yeah, and I think that's
what I mean.
And that's the thing. We can get into them because that's one of the when we went into this series, and I'm going and looking at the Heat, and I'm looking at Boston. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, the Heat came off of beating my Knicks, and as much as I love my Knicks, you could see the shortcomings.
Yeah,
you could tell that there was some stuff missing, and they were missing kind of an elite scorer. As nice as Brunson is, he's not always going to be that guy.
He was unbelievable.
He's spectacular, but they need a little bit more help.
Who's the big guy there that
Randall?
Randall.
Yeah.
Now, I thought, had a really good season, but the playoffs, he was just jacking it up.
He jacks it up, and he sometimes seems like an emotional guy.
Yeah.
He gets pretty emotional.
He just goes, you know what I mean?
But the thing was, looking at that series and then saying, oh, they're going to go against this Boston team that struggles sometimes, but is talent-wise, they've been together and they are very, very talented. And so now the question is like, well, it's a coaching matchup. Clearly Spoelstra is the better coach because he's been around for so long.
Well, he has a system in place.
He's got a system in place, and he's got somebody by the name of Pat Riley kind of just up in the rafters. He always seems to know what's going on. So I was completely taken aback by the fact that the Heat came in and just went to town on him. Because I remember in the second game, I was thinking, there's no way that the Boston Celtics are going to lose this game. How are they going to lose this game?
Well, but what you see simply, because they've been a tough team to watch all year, the Celtics.
I can't even imagine.
Because you know the talent that they have. They have all this talent on the bench they might as well go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't even use them because they don't know what to do. But what his job is, Spoelstra's job is confuse him. He goes 1-4. He goes zone.
Yeah.
He goes man-to-man. He goes full court. Every time is different. By the time Tatum or Brown navigates that, the clock is down to 13 seconds.
Yeah.
They got to try and dribble through. They pack the paint because, of course, they don't call defensive 3 seconds in the playoffs at all.
No.
Embiid stayed in the paint the entire 7 games.
Anthony Davis, too. He was in the paint the whole time.
You know what I mean? So they don't call that. So then they have to jack up a three. I mean, the Celtics are behind, and they waltz up the floor. They do 2 passes, and they shoot another 3. And I'm like, go to the basket.
What's wild is like when the Celtics are when they are their elite selves, it's when Tatum has the ball and he's driving and kicking and driving and kicking. Yeah. And it's so weird because he's one of the only superstars, or it's like, I guess we live in this time now where the superstar is like, I don't know if I should be a superstar.
Yeah.
Even though in Game 7 you had 50-something points.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like with Boston, I'll always say that they're never out of it just because of the fact that they seem to play well from behind. They like having their back against the wall, people talking down on them. After they lost Game 3 when it was clear that they just give it up.
Yep.
And I in my mind, I was thinking they gave up so that they could just be stressed out. Because a part of me is like, they like to be stressed out. They don't, but they don't like their being around their own fans because their own fans expect so much from them. But the problem is they're going to have to do it. I mean, in order to win this series, which I still think there is a chance.
Yep.
Just because of their talent.
Yep.
And just because another Boston team did it years ago to my Yankees.
Yep.
Like 3-0 is not impossible.
And I saw and Jeter and A-Rod were in the audience in Miami.
Yeah. So, that might be a sign of what's to come. But I would say, like, I'm so surprised at the way the Celtics play because they're so good, and it doesn't make any sense when they play this kind of no movement basketball. But they're another team because I think the Heat, a lot of these teams now, the Heat and the Celtics, some of them, they live and die with the 3.
Yeah.
And the Celtics certainly die with the 3. They will put it up. They will put it up as much as possible.
Well, that's analytics. You know what I mean? That's the way that people are going. I just don't buy it. You have to create movement in the defense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it also creates movement on the shot. You're not just standing there flat-footed, shooting. You have to get it in rhythm, and that's when you have a better chance of it going in.
For sure. And that's the thing. Like, well, when you look at the way, like the Celtics have they have Smart, he's great. He's a great defensive player, but he's not like your point guard.
No.
He's a defensive point guard. Yeah. But then you give the ball to Tatum and Brown, and you got 2 guys who, like, their handle is okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they get into trouble when those 2 guys are just dribbling around and everyone's standing still.
You have to be able to absorb them each losing the ball 3 times.
Yes.
Not in a half, but 3 or 4 times during the game.
And potentially during a crucial.
Because it's, and it's a 12-2 run, and you need a basket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
so like when I think with tonight, the game is tonight.
it is.
There is a part of me that thinks that the Celtics will win if they come out strong.
Mhm.
But if in the first quarter they're dealing with like heavy hearts and they're all sad and they get all dejected and like, I don't think that they can make a big comeback, but I won't ever doubt it.
I don't know. The other thing that you have to say is and they talk about all these guys that are undrafted for Miami. Those guys have not missed a shot.
They missed the last game. That was the first time I'd seen them miss.
Oh my heavens! You know what I mean? And they're playing well. You know what I mean? But I think that they discovered a little bit of something, even though he ended up kind of helping them lose the other game. Grant Williams plays tough on Jimmy Butler.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
What did you think about that?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. You know what I mean? And I don't think Grant Williams is saying, I'm going to defend Jimmy Butler, but I'm not going to let you just waltz around here and do your little dipsy do. And
no, I would.
You're going to pay for it. You know what I mean?
This is something that's been said. Something has been said for these playoffs, and it's constant. It's this phrase, "Don't poke the bear."
I know.
And they said it with LeBron James, with Brooks, and now they've said it with Jimmy Butler and Grant Williams. The whole point of athletics and competition is to fight. Yeah. And so having somebody like Grant Williams is one of those dudes where if I was playing a pickup game, he wouldn't be the first person I picked, but I'd want him on my team so I didn't have to deal with his ass.
Yeah.
I'd want him on my team.
Yeah.
Because then if he's on the other team, he's going to be harassing me.
Yeah.
I had a friend back in the day when we play, he was not that good at playing basketball because every time he guarded me, he was looking at me in the eyes. It was a terrible way. And even if I didn't have the ball, he was in my face, looking at me directly in the eyes. And I was like, you know what? You're not that good, but you're annoying the hell out of me. And I'd rather have you on my team than on the other team. So I appreciate what he did.
He mixes it up. He's short. You think he's in there with the tree.
Just like
he's stocky.
Yeah.
He doesn't back down. He enjoys himself.
Well, I don't think he enjoys himself as much as Jimmy Butler enjoys himself.
Well, yeah.
Jimmy Butler.
I know.
And I will say this whole thing with I enjoyed it because it was fun to see Jimmy Butler come back and be like, you want to do this? And now Jimmy Butler, if you're listening to different podcasts out there, he has this aura now of like, oh, the Jimmy Butler show comes and Jimmy Butler's just so tough and Jimmy Butler. A part of me would think that it would be so great. It would be so great. And I am not a Boston fan. I'm not a Boston fan. Just letting everybody know. I live amongst them, but I don't like any of them. I'm like, no. But I would say it would be, because I'm also not a Heat fan. As a Knicks fan, I can't be sitting there rooting for the Heat.
No.
Or the Celtics. It's the worst situation it could possibly be in. But I would love to see Jimmy Butler just get taken.
Well, he got Grant Williams stuffed him at the end of last game, and that was pretty impressive. I also think that this is me being a ham. Tatum and Brown go to the basket. They end up on their head on the basket, no foul. And then Jimmy Butler just jumps up in the air and lands on his butt, and he gets free throws every single time.
Well, that's the thing, right? He's been known for the playoffs. If he gets to the free throw line 10 times, they win.
Yep.
And so he's got such an interesting game because his game is like a throwback game.
Yeah.
Because he's not a 3-point shooter. He is just kind of like a hound, and he'll just get that mid-range.
But he had a chance to win it last year, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And he's had a lot of chances, and he hasn't. He's gotten there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he has never gotten over the hump.
I will say, now looking at tonight's game, what do you think?
I really cannot say one way or the other. I'm hoping that they win.
Yeah.
It looks to me like they should have everything going for them. They're home and everything, but they've lost. I mean,
So
5 out of 7 home games at the Garden in the last 4 or 5 years. That
it's just why
I just don't know.
Sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Why do they play so terribly at home? What's wrong with your fans?
I don't know. I really can't figure it out.
Is there like a negative energy that they get? And especially if they get down on themselves,
Well, there you go.
and then the fans certainly aren't like, we can do it, guys.
Yeah, no,
That's not Boston fans.
That's not Boston fans.
No.
Because they were booing them there.
Yeah, that's the
and, you know, and
I never understand. I understand that you want your team to win, but the whole point of being a fan, in my mind, especially in the playoffs, your team is good enough they got to the playoffs. You have to will them to victory. You don't become, when you're booing, you become a Heat fan, essentially.
well, I mean, that's talk radio. That's you know what I mean?
Well, that's like any big market.
Any big
sports
market. It's like Philadelphia, you know, them, you know,
Yeah.
same thing. You're great, oh, you stink. You know what I mean? And that's just the way that it is. And I think that really is what happens. If something happens that starts to bring them down, they can't stop the train.
Yeah. They get so dejected.
You know, it's really hard. I that's another thing that I don't understand is I hate just pulling the ball out of the basket. Do a secondary break, even if they score. Get the ball up quick.
Yeah.
Don't take 10 seconds to
The
get
new
moving.
thing is to just let the ball roll
Yeah,
for 15 seconds.
What does that do?
It's the clock doesn't start until somebody touches it.
So what is that?
Or the backcourt clock, whatever. It's very frustrating.
It's the silliest thing.
Yeah.
And then you stand there and Tatum does these 7 crossovers, and then 2 guys double him up, and then he's got nothing else to do, so he tries to fire a pass, which might get there or might not.
Mm-hmm. So when I look at the Heat and I look at the Celtics, and I think whoever wins this is going against the Nuggets.
Yeah.
You know, and that to me, it's like Bam cannot keep up with Jokic.
No.
I don't think that there's anybody on the Celtics that's going to be able to keep up with Jokic. Maybe.
Well, the combination of Al and Robert Williams might be able to put a deal.
And they'll certainly stretch him out because Al will
and maybe Marcus Smart on Murray. You know, maybe.
Yeah,
it's all maybes. You know what I mean? I would say that would be they would be better.
They would have a better matchup. Yes, for sure.
Miami.
I would 100% agree with that because when I look at Miami, I'm still flabbergasted that they're even where they are.
Well, you know, they were 3 minutes away from losing to Chicago in the play-on game.
Yeah.
Chicago was up 5 points with 3 minutes to go.
Which is what's so impressive about, like, when I look at the Heat, I'm more impressed with like the coaching.
Yeah.
And everything else. It seems like coaching plays a big factor for them more than it does for the other teams. Even though, you know, everyone's getting on your guy. He's young.
Yeah.
He's young. And I don't understand the idea, well, let's just go fire this guy. You're in the conference finals, and you got a chance.
Budenholzer got fired by Milwaukee after that series, and that wasn't his fault.
No. And that's also the thing. Like, it is not his fault that they were down 3-0.
Yeah.
And now that they're coming back, like, I think that there's still a chance. And if they come back, is he then the greatest coach? Or is it just the players were that good?
Well, you know, that's, once again, talk radio.
Yeah.
And, you know, the internet.
So going forward.
All right, I will say they're going to win tonight.
You do think
it's probably the kiss of death, but that's what I'll say.
I think it's going to be a close game. And I think it's going to be a last shot kind of game.
Do you?
I do. Because the idea of the Heat getting blown out for a second straight game is probably not likely.
Yeah.
They also missed a lot of threes. They were missing some shots last game.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, I'm going to say that the Celtics are going to do it, and they're going to put some pressure on them. Because if they win this game, Marcus Smart said, don't give us one.
Yeah, I know.
And so, I mean, but that's like, but you need that. You need that kind of fight, that drive.
I want to see it go to the 7th game, and we'll have Kevin Millar and Kurt.
All the guys in there.
And
Big Poppy.
Ramirez.
Yeah, all of them. Bring them all in. The thing is, they get to go home to a 7th game.
Yeah.
And if they end up doing that, and those fans of yours start booing them when things get rough, then they don't deserve to win.
Well, it's more and more pressure. I mean, the pressure is going to be on Miami, but no, it isn't. They have to win 3 games.
Yeah.
And they really need to play clean. You know what I mean? They really do. And when they go on a little run, you just got to accept it, get back, and get back to your game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Going forward. And I'm not absolutely positive they can do that. It's an interesting thing, but we'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
Yep.
I've been enjoying the playoffs so far. I would say that I'm a little bit disappointed with the Lakers Nuggets just because I wanted to see a series.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be over. And now the Nuggets are kind of just chilling.
I'm so impressed with what they did.
They are a team that's been together. They've been healthy.
Yeah.
They got, people like Porter who can just shoot the three.
I know.
I mean, it's like
I never liked him because he was kind of a soft guy, but he played pretty well.
played really well.
Just to change it up a little bit, a guy that I am impressed with is Darvin Ham,
Yes.
the coach of the Lakers. He's a pretty good coach.
He's
Going to be good going forward. I don't know whether he's going to have any input into stay away from Kyrie or you know what I mean? Why don't they go get Dame Lillard and a point guard?
Dude, if you got Dame Lillard on any other team than the team he's on, there's a good chance.
I know.
He's
talking about going here, there, and everywhere.
But I also like that he's staying there,
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's not chasing a ring. Portland is a cool town. I would hang out. I loved hanging out in Portland.
That team has always been like one step away from being a sort of a contender.
Yeah.
They never really get there.
No, they've fallen short.
Yeah.
But all right, so you think
Yep.
You think tonight's gonna be a good night?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very
Yeah, I guess so.
all right. I think we could probably do we have anything else?
Well, did you want to talk about Ja?
Okay, we can do a little bit about Ja.
Yeah.
So I will say this. Ja is making dopey decisions. He's making young man decisions. He's hanging out with his boys and he's having a good time. I hung out with my boys too. We had a good time. I didn't do it with a gun. I didn't do dancing with guns.
Yeah.
That I might have gone to theater school, but I didn't do it and say, I'm going to add a gun to the mix. So I think for him going forward, he needs to first and foremost. The thing is like what he's doing, it's like it's not that bad in terms of you're dancing. Like you're dancing, you're not committing any crimes.
No.
You're fighting mall security guards sometimes and 16-year-olds. So none of these things are building up any cred in the gangster world. And if you just danced without a gun, none of this would be a problem.
No.
But instead, you're John Wicking it up in there, and it doesn't. It's just really weird.
I just don't understand how either the league, the team, or his family doesn't have somebody to help him just navigate. You know what I mean? Somebody needs to just help him out a little bit so that.
Well, and there's thing is like we're talking about the NBA. There have been plenty of guys who have gone through similar. I mean, they're not dancing with guns, which is why it's also crazy. But Ja is trying to live a life that he doesn't even really represent. He went to a good school. He's got a good family. He's making a ton of money. He's never been a gangster. Yeah. And so to go and be like, oh, I dance with my gun and this stuff, like he needs to check himself because when you look, and I was talking about this with our good friend Patrick, when you look at him, he's doing something that's outdated, even when you look back at like the way Snoop was back in the day, the way Jay-Z was back in the day, these guys did hustle and did, illegal things to get to a position where they didn't have to do it anymore. He's at that position already. Yeah. Snoop Dogg's trying to buy a hockey team, so he doesn't, so the most authentic thing that he can do at this point is invest your money and realize that you are so freaking lucky and that the idea of being a gangster it's not a smart play. It's not where you should be going.
No, it's a spiral down.
It's a spiral.
You know what I mean?
He could still be doing 90% of the things that he's doing if he just didn't put a gun in his hand. You can have your little house parties. I'm sure there's NBA players, NFL players out there who have the wildest house parties. And the great thing is I don't know anything about them.
That's right.
But I think that's another thing he's chasing.
Am I right in saying that was the guy he was in the car with is the guy that took his picture and then posted it?
So
is that true?
So no. So the thing that happened was it was an Instagram live.
Oh,
So it's Instagram Live to 111 people. So there's not even that many people watching, but he's out there clout chasing, and he needs to sit there and put on this show as if he's living that life, which doesn't even make any sense. Like from that video, they could have been on their way to Applebee's.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And like, they're just having a good on our way to Applebee's. But instead, no one cares about where they're going or where they're coming from. They just care about that one moment. And it was less than like 2 frames.
Yes.
You know, and then, but you always have to also remember, social media can be it's a drug. So as much as you're like, oh, well, at least he's not doing drugs, and at least he's not gambling, and at least he's not like an alcoholic, maybe, I don't know. The main thing is that he was addicted to social media, getting some clicks. And it's crazy because it was 111 people. It's not even, and you get more clicks by doing a dunk. Just go dunk, and everyone really respects your game.
Yeah.
But he's living in an alternate reality, and he's 24, so his frontal lobe isn't fully developed yet. Mm-hmm. And give this guy 2 years, and this will wake him up.
Do you think he's going to get suspended for a lot of games?
I mean, I would imagine he gets suspended for almost half the season.
Half the season.
I would say like 41 games.
That's such a young team. Am I right?
Yeah.
I don't know of any.
They're super young. I think they're the youngest team. Maybe
there's the big center there who I really like.
And they got rid of their loud.
Spain. Oh yeah, they got rid of what's his name there. They already got rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they basically said we have no interest in re-signing him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's one of those guys where his persona is bigger than his, sort of a Grant Williams, but a little bit more.
Yeah, because Grant Williams is going to help.
Yes.
He's going to be effective.
Yes.
And he's not going to say something stupid off the court. He's going to get in the guy's face on the court, which is what you want. You want a fighter on the court. You don't want a loudmouth with big glasses on.
They say that Grant Williams is really liked throughout the league. He talks to everybody. You watch him, and he's having these huge conversations, laughing with the refs.
No, he seems like a game. That's the thing when those, don't go poke the bear. Yes, poke the bear, or else the bear, or you just let the bear do bear stuff. You know,
yeah.
The NBA, you got to poke a bear every once in a while. And if it pokes back, then at least you're not just getting mauled for nothing.
So I guess I hope that Memphis thinks about getting some backup players that might help Ja. You know what I mean? Navigate things.
I mean, it's gonna be obviously it's up to Ja. It's up to what friends you choose, because there's no need to do any of the things that you're doing for other people. So you're in your video, you're doing all that stuff, but it seems like you're doing it for other people. That's the only reason why you're showing it. That's the only reason why you're putting it out there. And so I don't even necessarily think that wasn't necessarily Ja's fault, because his friend was doing it. But at some point, somebody's got to say, like, it's just weird. The idea of me sitting in a car with my friends and I'm playing some music, and then my friend pulls out a gun and is dancing with the gun. That's not something that you do. You know, if you're a fan of guns, you're probably you should also have some sense of gun safety.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I just think it was just fooling around and kind of showing off and not really paying attention.
Caught up. Good
way to put it.
Did you see yesterday that they had the Instagram post that he put out that had a police response, essentially? Because it said, "Bye, Dad. I love you, Dad. Love you, Mom. Baby girl, you're the best." And then the last one said, "Bye."
Yeah.
And that, what's so crazy about that, even that seems like a cry for help or a cry for attention.
But now I heard that he said because he was getting off of social media. That's what that was.
But it also sounds like
I know
he's getting off of life.
That's what people are worried about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's also a reason it's like, he could have done that a better way. He could have just released a statement, said, "Hey, I'm taking a break from social media. I love you guys, love my family, love everybody out there."
Yeah.
But instead, he puts out what seems to be a cryptic tweet that everyone's now wondering, oh, this poor guy, he's only got $45 million this year, and next year he's going to also get $45 million, but he's just so depressed. He's so depressed. Well, he's fine. He's fine. He just needs to get off of social media, and he needs to find some friends, and, find some friends who don't need clout, because his friends are probably the clout chasers. And then,
Yeah, well, that's always the way.
and you need to find some better friends, and you need to just realize that you're in a better place.
There's a movie about coming out about LeBron and his friends. Yeah,
Well, his
like
friends group.
high school kids.
Yeah.
That whole I don't know really what it's about. Is
Well, one of his best friends is like,
it's the Asian guy?
yeah. So
Did he play basketball with him?
I don't know. He might have in high school,
Oh, okay.
but Rich Brown, right? Rich. I can't remember.
He goes out with Adele.
Yeah, but you're talking about a friend, a model friend to look for. Look for a friend that becomes your business partner,
I know.
not your friend that says, "Let's get to the club, let's go dance with these guns, let's get as many chains as we can wear around our neck and the grills and all this stuff, and just focus on what's important." You didn't see people like Kobe, and I mean Kobe was doing whatever he was doing, but this is just the new world of social media where these kids are like they are in it, and they need it, and they need validation, they need clicks, they need likes. And the crazy thing is that you would think that dunking in front of a huge sold out crowd, like making everybody in there go ooh and ah, would be enough, but it's not.
Never enough for people.
It's never enough. So, well,
Okay.
on that note, thank you again for watching.
Thank you.
This has been the Unnamed Sports Podcast, and we will see you next time.
Thanks. See ya.